Hi everyone, welcome to our Rebel Studio Facebook Live series, and I'm your host Krista Gun. And today we're starting a little bit early, but it's okay. I mean, take your time, grab a coffee, grab your tea, and join us for today's session. So today is episode 20. So I've done 20 episodes already of Facebook Live, and I am each time I get very excited because each time I talk to someone who is going to come on and share with us their knowledge. So today I will be talking to Neoh Hock Soon, and I'll be bringing him on in a little while. But before that, let me just quickly say hello and thank you to all of you who have joined us. I know it's a little bit early today. I decided to start early because sometimes when I start right on the dot, people will be asking me, hey, is it starting? So I'm going to start early today. So happy Saturday to all of you. And before I bring on Hock Soon, I just want to give a brief intro about him. So he's someone that I've known for a very long time already. I think more than 20 years, 20 over years. I knew him even before he got married to a very good friend of mine. So when in the course of knowing each other, we have talked about a lot of things, and most of the time he has all of the time, actually not most of the time, for the past 22 years he has been in the manufacturing and engineering. But last year he decided to come out on his own and become an entrepreneur. So I thought it was such a fascinating thing to dig into his brains and to talk about not just that transition, being an engineer and after that coming out on his own to be an entrepreneur. That's pretty common. That's right. That's why I always tell people that's quite common. People work for a while or 1 or 2 decades in the corporate world and decide to come out and do their own thing. But what is interesting is that he decided to use a very methodical approach, I mean, like most engineers, to think through that process of coming out and to prepare himself adequately. So today's session is really about talking about that process and how he used a design solution approach to do this. So I would also like to know a little bit more about how he thought through the whole process. And for those of you who are watching right now who are not entrepreneurs yet, but may want to try becoming an entrepreneur, this is the session that you need to pay attention to because he's going to share some really good stuff. Because we did a pre-call before that and we were talking about this, and he's really going to dig into his own personal experience and strategies. So without further ado, let me just bring on Hock Soon. Hi, Hock Soon.
Hi, Krista. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us on this Saturday morning.
Yeah. So we are interested in your story. But before we get into your story, I always get my guests to bring on their favorite book or something that they are reading this particular week. So what are you reading this week?
Okay.
Designing your life.
Yes.
Okay.
So what I'm going to share with you, part of it, I also get ideas from this book. And I have actually read this book some time back. It was actually introduced to me by my coach about 3 years back. Yeah. And I'm rereading it again because I want to go through and see, how can I go deeper in some of the processes, gain a better understanding of it. Yeah.
Okay. So have you finished reading the book or are you rereading?
I'm rereading. I just finished the book previously.
Okay.
So it's my second go at it now.
Okay. Do you often reread books?
Sometimes those that I find interesting, that I started using, then you want to refresh your memory on the concepts. So that's why I decided to reread the book.
Okay. So now from my side, sometimes I will bring on the book, but sometimes I don't. But today I want to share this book called Get Big Things Done, The Power of Connectional Intelligence. Okay, so this is the book. Wait, let me try to put it. Okay, by Erica Dawan and Sach Nicole Joni. So I have this book on my shelf, and sometimes, I think you also understand, right? When we go to book sales, we
Yes.
tend to buy books, right? And then we keep them on our shelves. And then after maybe a year or two, or even 3 years, then we realized that, oh, I have this book. I haven't read this. So I picked it up just 2 days ago. And what I found that's interesting is there's this thing that they talk about. What is connectional intelligence? So I want to just briefly read out, okay, what it means. Connectional intelligence is the ability to combine the world's diversity of people, networks, discipline, and resources, forging connections that create value, meaning, and breakthrough results. So I thought it was so apt that, right? I honestly had no idea what this book was about until I picked it. I read the first few pages, and I thought, hey, I think I should share this. Not I haven't seen people talk about this book, but maybe I don't know much about this topic. But I thought this was very good because inside this book they talk about how people can get out of their fields to learn things that they can bring back into their own areas, to combine and to make new things, or to use their knowledge to help other people. So I thought that this was something very, very, useful for us to know today. So if
yes, indeed.
anyone's interested in this is the book to get. And I got this, but why you see there's a line here? This is not a graphic, yeah? It's not a graphic. This is because I bought it at the Big Bad Wolf sale.
Okay. Mine actually, this is a second copy I have.
Yeah.
This is my second copy, not only my second time reading, but I gifted the first one to a good friend of mine, who helped me in this journey of mine as well. So I actually gifted the book to her.
Okay.
Yeah.
So those are the books that we are recommending this morning. So if you just join us, welcome, and thank you for coming by and spending a Saturday with us. Hi, Rowena.
Hi, Rowena.
Hi, Rowena.
Thank you for joining.
Yes, thank you for joining us. And for those of you joining us, please leave a comment, whether you're an entrepreneur or not an entrepreneur or an engineer. If you're an engineer, please give a shout out.
Yes.
I believe there are many engineers. They were living in Penang and all that. I think we have many engineers in our midst. So now that we are done with our book intros, maybe you can tell us a little bit about yourself, Hock Soon, because I only told people you're an engineer, and I've known you for a long time. But they still don't know much about you. So tell us a little bit about your journey so far.
Okay. Wow, that's quite a bit. I'll try to make that short. Hi, Ghana. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Ghana Vignesh. Hi, boss. Is this your someone you know?
Yes, one of my team members. Hi, Rose. So, everyone, thank you for joining us today. So, let me get started to introduce myself a bit. So, I'm married with 2 kids, and I'm doing a bit different. Yeah. So, I like outdoor activities. I like going out to nature, hiking, stuff like that. I wish I could do more of that, but unfortunately, I haven't been able to do so. I'm more of an introvert. Okay. Analytical type of person, but along the way, as I share with you on my journey, I find that I enjoy engaging with people, building long-term relationships, meaningful relationships over time, and I strongly believe in values. It is very important. And all of us can play a part in what we do, contribute in our small ways back to society. And that's also one of the things that I look for when I try to define, what I want to do in my, what you call, and core career. Yeah, this is a term I learned, and core career. Right. And I believe in earning respect of people, even though in my journey, I've been through different leadership roles, all the way up to senior leadership. But I really strongly believe, we are there to serve. Okay. So on my journey, I started out in Solectron. That was 20 years ago. Interesting, subcon, fresh grad, you go in there. I was in the technology development department. So fresh engineer go in that department. We are leading the manufacturing side and helping them launch products. You are supposed to be the expert. So very fast, you learn to stand on your feet. You learn to voice up, right? Then I decided, hey, I want to do design. So I went into product design, where I joined Robert Bosch for 15 years plus. But I didn't completely just do design in my years over there. So I did design. I was doing project management. I was doing project management and design at the same time. I was doing resource management. I was taking care of servers as well, HP Unix servers. If for those of you still know what are those, yeah, before we had the Windows servers. And I started leadership role in Bosch as well. And it's here that I started I had my first taste of being a trainer. I was an in-house trainer. I was covering leadership, team dynamics for team leads and project managers, project leaders. I also led a site-wide initiative for engineering systems for Bosch. So I had, because of all this, I had opportunities to be trained up as a trainer. I was sent to Shanghai. I was sent to Stuttgart for this. Okay. Then an opportunity came up with Bose. So very often people get confused from Bosch to Bose. They ask me, where are you now? I say, I'm with Bose. Oh, you're still with Bosch. Oh, no, I'm with Bose now. So it's very close. And in both, I was also doing audio products. So in Bose, it was very interesting. You get to play with a lot of cool audio products. It was a lot of fun. And we had lots of opportunities to travel to the US. You know, you can feel the difference in the East Coast and West Coast, experience US for yourself. But it was also here that I step up my leadership role into senior leadership level, taking care of the entire development organization. And in the process, we also went through change management, taking through the whole team through an organizational change, as the site was acquired by Flex, and I was leading the team through the whole change, setting up the vision, working with the team, getting them engaged, how we move forward together, right? And it was very good experience for me, in terms of personal development as well. Okay, then, that was my last position. I had the opportunity also to undergo leadership development programs from Bosch to Bose to Flex. I also was one of the panel for trainers and facilitators for leadership program in Flex. And lastly, I also had my first taste of coaching, when the transition was happening. So my boss back then gave me the opportunity to be coach. And that's when I first realized, hey, how coaching can help people. And I got certified. So I'm a certified professional coach as well. Yeah, that's a lot. Thank you.
That's definitely a lot. You decided to shorten it into a very tidy kind of journey. But
Yes.
before we continue, let's say hello to some of your friends here. I think most of
Yes.
them are your friends.
There's so
Hi,
many of
Rose.
them.
Hi, Rose.
Hi,
Hi,
Rose. Cici, Yilun. Yeah.
HB.
Some.
HB Ui. Hello.
Yes, my ex-colleagues.
And
Hi,
Steve.
Bing. Nice
Hi,
to see you
Steve.
here.
And hi, Munchie. Hi. And hi, Daniel. Of course, Daniel.
Yes, Daniel. I never met him.
Daniel has
Keep
always
bumping into
been
him.
very supportive. Yeah. You're having your reunion online, right? With all your ex-colleagues and friends.
Yes.
Okay, so now that we know that you've had all this experience in corporate, and you're also a certified coach, right? And now you're out on your own. How does that feel? Because you spent 22 years, right? If I'm not mistaken, like 22 years, right?
23.
In 23. Okay, 23 years in manufacturing / engineering / corporate. And then now you're on your own. How does that make you feel?
It's difficult to answer. You have a mixture of emotions, I would say. Sometimes you get excited of the prospect. Sometimes it's the other end. It's MCO now, things can be pretty slow. So sometimes, these doubts creep into your mind as well. So yeah, I experience, I would say, both spectrums. Sometimes when I try to visualize what could be, then makes me excited. But when you go into the allow, sometimes it's natural. You do get kind of down. You're working by yourself. You're at home. MCO is pretty quiet and lonely when you're so used to working with lots of people around you, right? For 23 years, it takes some time to get adjusted. Yeah.
Okay.
But
that's
overall,
a very realistic. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I am quite calm about the whole process. Partly because some of the preparations I have taken to until this stage. Yeah. So one of the things as we plan to strike out, because in the process of this whole thing that we're going to talk a bit more later, I did talk to some people who is in this line, in the field of training, providing training services. My trainer, whom I participated for my trainer certification for HRDF, he was sharing some of the challenges he faced. In the first 2 years, he was struggling to keep afloat. Right. So I think it's important for any of us trying to strike out in this journey is being prepared in terms of from a financial perspective to sustain your lifestyle. Yeah, it's important, especially when you have family and kids. You need to have this peace of mind. Else, you're trying to start on this journey, and there's this concerns weighing down is going to be very challenging. So this was one step that I have been always preparing, not to say preparing for this specifically, but in terms of financial independence, right? So it's good that we have this exercise to manage our finances, no matter how young or old you are, because one day we're going to retire, or one day you may come to this point and decide to have your encore career. So you need to have that readiness to support this step that you want to take. So I got some professional help in this case. I engaged with a financial planner, someone I have known previously in the banking industry, went out on their own as well. And yeah, they approached me, so it was great. Yeah, the timing was nice. They came to me, they helped me review my finances, understand, okay, you're okay, you can manage somehow for 2-3 years. So yeah, you got this time to work it out. So that takes a lot of your mind.
Okay, can I say this? Can I interject and say this? Ever
Sure.
since I've known you from so long ago, ever since I've known you for so many years, right? I always thought you always had a very good head for finance and investment and everything else that you even okay. This is a secret that I know about him. Even when he was in uni, he was investing. So he started in his university days. Am I right? Am I not right?
Yes, that's true actually. Financial literacy is
the things I
important.
learned.
Yes.
The things I learned, yeah. The things I learned from your then girlfriend, now wife.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're very good at investing. So you started early. So I mean, this is also something that maybe if you're young, you're watching this and you're thinking that maybe you're not too sure about career, entrepreneurship. No matter how, it's still the finances first, right? You still have to make sure you have got a solid financial foundation. And you can start early. So if you're listening to this or watching this and you're like young, you're still in college, you're still in university, and you feel that you want to do something with your life later on, but you're still not too sure what, maybe the first step is actually get a very solid financial foundation going. Right?
It's
Yeah.
never too early to start. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have small amounts, start with there, get the discipline started. That's important. And through as long as you start out, I think the process is also of a learning process that you understand better, right? Yeah.
So I want to pull up some comments now. Let's see. So HB says, fully agree with Hock Soon. I've gone through this journey as well. Yes.
Yeah.
Many of us who are entrepreneurs, we have gone
comment.
through the journey. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Then there's another one. Wai Boon Lo. Emotionally strong and
Alex.
determined. Okay, of the transformation, I believe. Okay. So are you why is it why or is it low? I don't know.
Wai
Or
Boon.
is it Alex?
Alex Low.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Is he a engineer or entrepreneur?
Engineer.
Okay.
Yeah.
To be inspired to be an entrepreneur.
Yes.
And then Manchi says, yeah, still got to pay the bills. True. We still got to pay the bills, pay the rent, do whatever we need to do. And especially if you have family, and not only family. Yeah. So as I was talking to Hock Soon, you have your parents and your parents-in-law and all your relatives around you. And you have to make sure that they are also feeling secure. Otherwise, it's not going to help, right? If you're trying to do it on your own and then you still have people out there who are a bit, how should I say, unsure what you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Rose says, good friends who can be your anchor and confidant. Yes.
Definitely.
Yes, definitely.
I fully agree.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah. And one more comment before we get back to our talk is that, oh, well said. Okay, thank you. So well said.
Hi, Marcus.
You see, you've got all your friends and colleagues.
Yes. Thank you so much, everyone.
Now let's go into this, what we're here for today. So having said what you said just now, then what is this thing called design solution approach that you told me before and how you used it in your own life to make that transition? Can you talk a little bit about that? What is that all about?
Okay, there's a difference between design and engineering in this case, yeah. From a design perspective, when we talk about design, we don't really have a clear solution and the outcome is not so clear. But when you do engineering, you try to solve an engineering problem. You have a very clear requirement. Then you go through a process, you know the goal you have. And this, when you talk about design solution, why is apt for the situation that we're talking about? Because sometimes a lot of us, you are thinking, hey, I want to do something different, but you're not sure. So you see the end result is not clear for most of us. For those of you who have that clear, congratulations, you are one of the few. But for most of us, myself included, I never had this clear front all the while. So using design solution is, we need to understand. So what I'm giving now is a combination of embracing change and design solution. Krista, if you may, can you share the slide?
Okay, hang on.
Yeah. Okay. So I drew this out. This is my own thoughts on this. I was thinking about embracing change with all happening recently. Then I kind of combined that into design thinking. So what we have here is a combination of both. So let me explain. Yeah, you have current state, understanding where you are, and the second one is opportunities, and the third one is prototyping. So let me explain a bit about this. Current state is not just knowing where you are. Yeah, this is a lot about self-awareness. And in my own journey, sometimes I have difficulty answering the question, what do I really want to do? In my crossroads, during my crossroads, trying to decide what I want to do next, it is not entirely clear. Yeah. So some of the questions I put forward is you have to ask yourself, what are your passions? What you think your passions are? What the strengths you have? What kind of skills you have? So these are kind of coaching questions we do as well, because only you yourself knows this. Nobody else knows you better than yourself, right? And how ready you are in terms of some of these areas. So this is useful for you, and there are ways for you to go about doing this. Yeah? You can do self-reflection. You can schedule time on a regular basis. It could be a weekly basis, end of the week, early of the week, sit down, just give yourself 30 minutes, reflect. Not only when you want to change career, when normal in daily life, in daily work, you can do this. For personal development, self-improvement, you can do this, yeah. So we can also use this process when you're
hang on,
trying
Hock Soon.
Yes.
Can I? Yeah.
Sure.
I'm not too sure whether the audience is hearing it because I feel like you're talking halfway and then there's like a kind of disconnect, and after you continue. Can I ask the audience if you're hearing this? Can you hear him loud and clear? Because I just want to make sure that the rest of you can hear what he's saying. Because on my side, I kind of hear like a bit of he's saying. I mean, you're saying something, Hock Soon, and then after that, there's a little bit of a disconnect. I can hear a little bit of that, and then it comes back again. So I'm not too sure. You're clear, okay? So
good. Thank you.
It's probably,
yes.
Yeah. Okay. So all of you who are watching, is his audio clear? Okay, great.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Thanks, Rose. Thanks, Susan. Thanks,
Because
David.
we just wanted to have a sound check.
Thanks, Helen.
Make sure that everyone can hear him loud and clear. Otherwise, he's talking about something really important, and then we can hear bits and pieces of it. It's not really good. Okay,
so
continue. Sorry about that. Yeah.
We just got confirmation from acoustic engineer as well, so we are good.
Yeah.
Hi, AK.
You see, I'm taking on the engineering mind too.
Thank you. I did hear some hissing noise, so thanks for bringing that up. Okay, so let's continue there. Yeah. Of course, other than self-reflection, it's also good to get feedback from others, right? Sometimes you don't see your own blind spots. So in coaching, coaches ask you questions that help you discover yourself. You can talk to friends, people whom you trust, whom you believe can give you open feedback, honest feedback, because we really need that. Yeah. Then that helps you see a different perspective. Sometimes we don't see that. Yeah. Sometimes we are good at things, but we don't realize it. But people can see that in you. That's the thing. You may be an expert, but because you know much, the more you know, you feel that you don't know much. And that's kind of a belief some of us has. So getting those kind of feedbacks help you. So understanding the current state, that is the first step, because you need to know what you want to do. What is it that inspires you? What is it that you have passion for? Okay. Then once you have that, let's explore opportunities. So how do we explore opportunities? You can look at just past experiences. And as you do the self-reflection, try to identify time that you get the flow. When you engage in the activity, you kind of get a high out of it. Yeah, you enjoy it a lot. Your energy level is high. So that one, you do reflection, observation. As you do things, try to observe yourself. Then again, you can talk to people. People can help you out as well. You tell them, hey, as I'm doing certain things, can you help me? Give me feedback, observe, Then what else you can do is talk to people. Yeah? If you have identified certain areas or opportunities that you thought, hey, this could be interesting, talk to people. So in my case, I have talked to different kinds of people. Yeah? I have talked to people who is in the learning and development role in the organization, in-house trainers. I have talked to trainers. I have talked to trainers who who's doing this full time. And that's where I get certain perspective on it. So that helps you bring a better clarity of the role that you think you might like. You might like. It's not confirmed yet at this point in time. And you can also get people, mentors and coaches to help you out in this case. So from the first step is for you to understand yourself, your current state. Only when you know your own self, what you want to do, what's your passion, you go into, let's explore that, identify, plan and design opportunities. Once you have that, you need to take the next step. That is what I call here prototyping. In product design, we do a lot of prototyping. Means we build samples, we build mock-ups to test out the design. Hey, does it work or not? Especially when we are unsure, different concepts is untested, new. So we have a few prototyping so that we can see the results. Then, okay, we will look at the result. Okay, then we can compare and make a decision. Same for in this case, when you're unsure of what you want to do, you have outlined some opportunities. So you go test them out. By testing them out here, let me be clear. What I'm proposing here is taking the small steps. It's not putting away your day job and jumping into it. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about, taking your own time. Let's be professional in our job. You have a day job, deliver what you need to deliver. You have your own personal time. Make use of this personal time. Go out there and explore. Okay, so you have identified things so like my case, let me share some examples. So I have previous experience. So based on that, and I thought, hey, this could be something I would like to consider. So what I did was I went out there, I reached out to people I know, like Krista, one of them, coaching networks, coaching chapters, I set up one. Then, hey, I volunteered myself, So you need to give. In order for this, you need to do more on your part, okay? So I volunteered my time pro bono. It's a win-win situation, So I volunteered as a trainer and facilitator. One of the ones that I remembered was for women leaders in community. So I was giving or facilitating them on public speaking and team building, right? So this was completely pro bono. It was on weekends. So I did like a few sessions. We talked to about 100 plus women leaders in community in Penang, right? So that provided me an avenue for me to confirm if my thought process was correct. I think I would like to do this. But sometimes when you go and do it, it's a completely different feel from what you expect. So this really gives you a good opportunity to validate your thought process, if it works for you or not. The feeling you get, the whole process, you get a better feel. Of course, you don't get a complete feel like when you're on your own, but at least I think this is a very good start. So you build on that, right? Prototyping, then we go on, higher maturity. Then you refine the design. You try maybe differently, part-times, different engagements and so on. So I also did, we did a coaching training for the Penang Dev as well. That also pro bono. Pro bono, I mentioned win-win because we give back to society in this case, It's a win for you, yourself, and also you're contributing back to society. So that is something that also, I think, something that I would like to do. So it kind of helped me achieve two things at the same time. I think I paused for a while.
I like how you said that it's a win. It's a win for yourself and a win for society, which I think that is a good mindset to take also. Because a lot of times when we are talking about going out on our own and becoming an entrepreneur or getting out of the corporate world, we are always thinking about ourselves. We're always thinking about what can I do for myself, or how can I take care of myself. But if you look at it as in taking care of yourself as well as taking care of other people, I think more opportunities will open up in that way. And I also want to say that when I spoke to you about enlisting to be a trainer for Penang Women's Development Corporation, I am glad that you took up the challenge. It's not as easy as it sounds, right? It's easy work. It's not easy because there are so many factors you have to consider. One is that it takes the weekend away from you because all this community work happens on the weekend. Two is that you are training. Okay, maybe public speaking and team building is not that difficult, but there were other aspects that he had to be trained in, which is sex and gender, which is a big one, right? It's a really big one. And then there's the other part of also talking about women's participation in all this in all parts of the community life and all that, and also leadership, women leadership. So it was very brave of him to step in, because Penang Women's Development Corporation, mainly all the women trainers, all the women facilitators, and of course we deal with women. So that's where it's very brave of him to step in, because he's a guy, right? So these are some of the things that I guess it takes some form of courage to actually get out of your comfort zone and to get into something that's a little bit different, a little bit unusual for you. Even if you feel that you want to try out like prototyping, right? You want to take baby steps and go into it, but you still you have to take some risk, lah. Okay. The other thing is that I wanted to ask you is that since you took those steps, did that confirm your own theories about pursuing your passion in training, coaching, and facilitation?
Yes, it does help. Yeah, I think it validates to a certain level. I mentioned it confirms that you can do this, because you're not just training one time, you're training repeatedly the same topic again and again. So if you don't enjoy that, that's going to tell you something, right? So having the same topic repeatedly, and like I mentioned earlier on, is also interesting. There's some sort of echo in the background. Let me see.
Can you guys hear echoes? I love asking my audience. I love asking people, because sometimes when we're doing this, right, we can't hear the things you guys can hear. So if you hear any echoes, anything, please feedback and let us know in the comments, so that at least we can see, okay, there's some audio technical issues. And like I always say, my Facebook lives, right, it's live. Anything happens, Murphy's Law, whatever, right?
Yeah, and
things can happen, and people can tell us exactly. And because it's live, there's the feedback is also live, so people can tell us like what they're seeing, what they're not seeing, and what they're hearing and what they're not hearing. So so I don't think I hear any echoes from my side, but just now I was just breaking up for me. Maybe it's my internet.
Okay, maybe it's on my side.
Susan says no echo. So far so good. Great. Okay.
Yeah, working with audio products, you kind of look out for this kind of problems too much. So you're pretty sensitive to this kind of audio.
Yeah. We want to put on a good show for all of you. So we want to make sure everything is at least as perfect as it can be. So let me just pull up Rose's comment. The more you give, the more you receive. Yes, that is so true. Yeah. And I think that even in like stepping into entrepreneurship, I think part of the thing is for most of us to think is how can I help myself, as well as how can I help others? I think that's a very good mindset to take. Even as you're prototyping, right? You're talking about prototyping, even though you're in that step of finding out what you want to do, what you like to do. But the other question that I wanted to ask you, okay, Hock Soon, is that some people always talk about passions, right? Like, I'm passionate about this, I'm passionate about that. What if at the end of the day, the passion doesn't really make entrepreneurial sense? Have you come across anything like that?
There's a lot of discussion. I can't say that I lived through the experience, or maybe I have. When I started out on my career, actually, I didn't want to go into manufacturing. But I stayed there for 23 years.
You didn't want to go into what? I didn't hear that. I
didn't want to go into manufacturing. It was not my plan.
Okay. Okay. But you were there for so long.
I was there, and it's about finding things that interest you and engage you. Let me try to explain that. So, okay.
Having said that, oh, Rose can't hear. Okay.
Yeah.
Hang on.
No change.
Okay,
I'm
can't
not
hear
sure.
means. Okay, let me just let's mute you for a bit and unmute you again. Okay.
Okay.
Do a
Sound
test,
check.
Hock Soon. Can hear?
Sound check.
Sound check. Please, yes, okay. Rose says okay. So I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to say is that why didn't you want to get into manufacturing? What was so detestable about that?
I wouldn't say detestable. Such a strong word. You're starting out on your
Have to
career.
be a bit controversial, I have to be a bit controversial. So for those of you who are watching, have you? I also want to throw the question out to them, Have you ever come across people who say they want to do this and they're so passionate, but it didn't really make entrepreneurial sense for them? I mean, please write in the comments, and later we'll pull them out if you have some interesting ones to say. But yes, back to you, Hock Soon.
Thank you. Let me try to see how best to explain that.
Yeah.
Manufacturing is very wide. Yeah, it's very general. I think sometimes we have to dig in a bit deeper, just like your strengths. You need to be very specific about it. The part I think I didn't like was repetition. Okay, let's say collecting when you're running production, collecting data, every day running that product. But if you go into manufacturing, it is way much more than that. Yeah, of course that's part of the work, but I think there's lots of different challenges, and you get to do different products. So how I managed to survive so long, I guess, is as I went along, I changed different roles. Yeah, I was doing. I just put in engineering, but the fact is, when I first started, I was more of a process and product engineer. Then I thought I like to do design, so I went into design. So after a couple of years, I was asking myself, hey, do I see myself doing this in the next 3 to 5 years? The answer was no. So that's how I started. I became a project leader. Then from project leader, I took on team lead role, resource manager role, and different roles. So like in Bosch days, I think I changed at least 5 different roles. So on average, I was in a role for about 3 years, I would say. Yeah, so that gives me different exposures and different experiences, and sometimes you have to find the passion in the job, not always you get. Some people are lucky, they are doing what they like, but you can find what you like in your job as well, right? You find the reason behind your job. So I think as leaders in organizations, sometimes we also have to help people see. Like in Bosch back then, this is one thing I used to motivate myself, because Bosch is as a corporation, they are, how to say, they're not listed, yeah. So and they do a lot of charity work. There's a Bosch hospital. They are very participative in this kind of activities, and so part of me was saying, hey, by doing this, I'm also giving back to society. This was one of the things I used to convince and motivate myself back then.
Okay.
So sometimes
I
you
see
have
a daughter peeking.
Yes,
I see a daughter peeking at the side there. Okay, you want to introduce her? Introduce her, lah.
Yes, hi, Anya. Come
Part of
and say hello.
Hi. She's curious, right? Like, what are you doing on a Saturday morning?
Yes. So yeah, that's what sometimes so ask yourself. I go back to the first one, knowing yourself. What kind of things drives you. Find that for yourself, so you can somehow try to tie that to the work you do. When we are doing audio products in Bose like to say we are not just in the audio business. We are creating new experiences for people. We want to make an impact on people's life. Some of the products, they help people with hearing disabilities and so on. So when organizations are able to put out some kind of things, I think it really helps the team in a certain way, see more meaning in their work.
Yeah. I think the key thing here is to find meaning in your work. So this episode is not just about encouraging you to take the leap to become entrepreneur.
Yes.
Okay, for those of you who are watching it and who love your jobs, and I know there are people out there who love their jobs, and when you love your job, you will know that somehow or other you find meaning. You love it because you find meaning, right? That's the whole concept of it, is that you enjoy going to work, you enjoy doing what you do, and you know that what you do is actually going to help and impact more people. So I think now I tie in why you did the pro bono coaching and facilitation for the Penang Deaf Society, right? Association.
Yes.
It's because of your previous work with the audio products.
Part of it, not entirely so. Yeah, there
So
was.
tell me, do with like your previous job, and then you kind of saw that link up with the Deaf Society and community, and you wanted to help them, but you used your facilitation and coaching with them, right?
Yeah.
So now I connect the dots. Now I'm making sense of why. I'm sorry, why a specific? Yes, of course we should help different types of NGOs if we can, but why a specific one? So now I make that link up. But what I'm trying to say is that a lot of times people always think that entrepreneurship is all this good stuff, fabulous stuff. But even in entrepreneurship, even as entrepreneurs, there are things that we don't like to do that we have to do. Okay. So
yes.
they're not. It's not every day you're doing your favorite part of the business. Sometimes you don't, and many of us acknowledge this, that it is not the favorite parts of the business that we get to do all the time, but we get to do most of the favorite parts of business, and we find that is meaningful for us, and therefore we continue doing what we do. So even if you're in a job and you love it, and that is also something that I would like to make very clear. This is not about pushing you to become an entrepreneur. This is about giving you choices about where you want to be in your life. So if it makes sense for you to be in corporate, to work for others, that's also good. If you can find meaning in that and you enjoy your role and your job and doing what you do with a team of people, more power to you, right?
Yes.
But if you feel that at some point in life you want to do something different, you want to pursue passion that is very close to your heart, or you want to do something that you couldn't do when you were in corporate, and you are ready, and you have put all your pieces together, like your financial foundation is firm, you have talked it out with your family, your wife, your spouse, your kids. Your kids are older lah, but even your kids probably need to be part of that transition too, right? Because suddenly you're not going to work. Suddenly you're doing your own things at home, and now with MCO and all that, you're working from home. So your kids may also need to understand why you're at home all the time, and we're not engaged with meeting people or meeting clients and all that. Yeah. So we're not saying there's a right or wrong, but what we're trying to say is that wherever you do, you need to find meaning in it, and you need to be happy with what you are doing at any stage of your life, whether you are in corporate or not in corporate. So yeah, so I just wanted to make that clear, because otherwise people say, all you people are so gung-ho about talking about entrepreneurship.
No. Thanks for bringing that up, Krista. What I'm sharing here, and I see some comments from page hopping. Thanks for that about work-life balance. So this process basically is not about for you to transition into a new career. Yeah, when we talk about design thinking, we can apply it to different areas, and we should, I think, look beyond the job itself, right? So part of it is for us to explore things out there, right? So it's pretty dangerous in the sense that you are completely defined. Your self-worth and definition is by your job. Some of us are. I'm not saying all. I don't generalize here, but I know I was one at a certain point. So I'm talking from my own experience. So it's important that you explore things beyond your job, and explore other opportunities as well. Not to say that it's going to lead you to a different career. To have a more balanced life, explore your passions, make your life more meaningful, right? So you can apply the same principles, right? And sometimes if you're unsure, just ask, right? Like network, we may not have the network. Just ask friends who can help you connect. Like in my case, I ask Krista, I ask some other friends. People will help you. Yeah, you ask them with. People understand the reason behind. Yeah, people will try their best to help you out. So if you have a question there, hey, opportunities, I don't know people there, then what do I do? So some people that you know people who knows, or somebody else, second, third level connection, just step out there and ask. And especially now with MCO, there's a lot of webinars. You can get connected. Also, I participated in webinars also, trying to get to know more people. I participated in the IABC as well. So it's kind of also, okay, I told you guys I'm introvert, so it's not my strength over here, but I go through this, I do it. The more you do it, just be yourself, be honest about it. I think that I have no tips for you guys in this space. I'm not the expert over here, but what I find helps is being yourself, being genuinely interested to know about other people and sharing. I think that helps a lot when you're trying to network with people.
Yeah. I think the key thing you're trying to say here is also the fact that get out of your regular circle.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to try something new, you have to get out of your regular circle, or whether it's a context of people. Just try, like you say, go into webinars. And these typical webinars are so many good webinars actually. So many interesting topics that are being discussed. So just go in as you can go in as an observer. You don't have to go into like, this topic doesn't interest me, therefore I'm not going in. But you may go in and listen, and part of it is just to get to know who's in the crowd in that webinar space and what are they doing. And if you feel that one or two people in that webinar seems to be like people that you want to get to know, I think it's also good to connect with them. And like in the previous Facebook Live that I did with Rowena on leveraging a LinkedIn, that's how you use the step 2, right? After you meet them
Yes.
on your webinars, in webinars or online or wherever that you meet them. Usually these days it's online because of the work from home and all that. And so you go and meet them in LinkedIn and connect with them on LinkedIn, and then try to widen that circle, because I think part of the process is actually to widen our network, our circles, because the more diverse people we know, I believe, in my own personal case, I believe that the more diverse people I know, the more opportunities come from so many different quarters.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's just crazy to think of it like all these things that you actually receive are a result of people you meet in your community work. I've met lots of people in my community work who have suddenly randomly come, hey, I need to get something done on websites or marketing. Can you come and help me out? So it's totally random. I didn't go in expecting that was going to be the outcome. But sometimes if people see you and your character, your personality resonates with them, they really want to talk to you, and they really feel that you could be someone they want to work with or want to recommend others to work with you. So I think that's part of what I believe why we need a strong network. And a network is not just your work network. If right now you're in a work network, it is beyond the work network. It is your community, even your local taman. If you can join the Residents Association, I know people don't do that because it gets to be a little bit tricky, joining there, being there with your neighbors. But, things like that, start somewhere so that you start getting out of your regular go to work, come back kind of, acquaintances or contacts. Yeah. So, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I like to add to what you said there just now. You mentioned LinkedIn. So I'm learning from Rowena. Thanks, Rowena. I mean, LinkedIn, a lot of times we connect to people. We try to extend connection, but how about the next step? So if there's certain areas that you want to learn more, right? You have this connection, sometimes you can just ping them, trying to explore or further that relationship. You can approach them, ask for some feedback, ask some questions, clarification, and so on, right? And even ask them for opportunities that you can engage with, right? Even like for example, I gave you guys example just now about pro bono. Another way you can do is on your own. So what I used to do with my team is, some of them want to develop their public speaking skills, for example, and they're nervous. So again, same principle, we go with baby steps. Yeah? I encourage them to do in small teams, then go to a bigger team. So if you're on your own outside, what do? You have your circle of friends, you have this topic, then you tell them, hey, I'm giving a free talk. You guys are special guests. I invite you. Come in. I'm sharing my knowledge with you. Right. So it's free for you guys. Then in return, all I ask is you give me feedback. Then you have an opportunity to get feedback on how you improve yourself.
Yeah, that's a good one to start. So I wanted to pull this up. Chichin's comment. Self-reflection and passion both are very important. However, action for first step to move forward is challenging. Every step is not easy, but with determination, sure can gain something that you plan. Sharing is caring, so giving helps and you receive more than you expected. Yes, I think that is pretty much true. And like what Hock Soon just mentioned, if you want to start, you don't want to imagine, just say that you want to be a speaker. And you can't say, okay, I want to start with a room of 300 people. That will be too daunting. That will be too intimidating. But maybe, like you say, start with a webinar of 5 people, your best friends or, friends and then from that webinar, move on to maybe a slightly bigger webinar, maybe 20, 25 people. And then later, start going out to bigger and bigger audiences. So I think those are the steps that we need to bear in mind, is that no one starts out straight off talking to 1,000 people in a hall. And that's what we're trying to say, is like the baby steps, okay? Think of what small doable things that you can do right now with where you are, with what you have, in order to make the step, if you want to make a step. So this is not just for entrepreneurship, but for anything that you want to do in your life. And then Hui Wen says, totally agree, self-reflection, self-evaluation, observation from time to time are crucial. Find purpose in life. Yes. If you can find purpose in life, it doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter whether you're working in corporate or whether you are on your own. You will still do the work that you do with a lot of zeal, a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of passion. I don't want to overuse the word passion here, but yeah, that's a bit overused, a bit cliche, like find your passion in life and all of that. Yeah. And Manchi say, yes, LinkedIn is a very good platform, connect, engage. Yes, I find that, LinkedIn is great. I mean, I love Facebook. I mean, Facebook is friends, family, people, but LinkedIn is also a very good platform. I mean, LinkedIn is, of course, for professional development, professionals, businesses, people to do the things they want to do. And I wanted to also say that because of watching Rowena's session with me 2 weeks ago, Hock Soon decided to take that first step of writing this article and putting it on LinkedIn. So for those of you who have not read his article yet, please go on LinkedIn and comment and give him a thumbs up and all that. Because a lot of times, all of us are like this, right? We write and we write and we keep it all in our computer, but we don't publish it anywhere. But the moment you hit publish, it is when you start seeing things happen, right? Momentum, people coming and giving you high fives and telling you things that maybe you didn't know. So sometimes one of the things that I like to do is I like to talk to friends and clients, because sometimes I ask them things like, hey, how do you find out about me? Or how do you find out about my company? How do you find out about what I do? And they will give you some of the most interesting answers ever. Just 2 days ago, I was on a call with someone who is in New Zealand. And we were talking about business. And then after that, I said, but how do you, we're friends, yes, but how do you suddenly remember me? And we wanted to get on a call with me. And she says, oh, because I know you're a fixer and a doer. I'm like, okay, totally out of the blue. I never thought of it that way. But these are good feedback. These are good feedback, because then you start to think, oh, am I a fixer? Am I a doer? Or maybe I am. So then you can start thinking of other examples of where you're a fixer and doer, and people see that in you. Sometimes we can't see ourselves as much as other people can see us, and sometimes they give you some really good feedback, and then you can use those feedback and put that into your marketing, put that into how you write things online, or how you publish things and put things out there. So okay. Rose says, can we have his LinkedIn connection?
Yes, of course.
I hope you're talking about Hock Soon, right? Just go to LinkedIn and look for. How are you on LinkedIn? Are you Hock Soon Neoh or Neoh Hock Soon? I don't know.
Hock Soon Neoh.
Hock Soon Neoh. Okay.
Yeah, I think we
So
can put it up. Yeah.
Yeah. So Hock Soon Neoh. Okay, so go and connect with him on LinkedIn, go and read his article. And so when you read his article, he gets excited to produce the next one, right?
Yes, indeed. I got some feedback from some of our ex-team members saying that it helped give them some clarity. So I am really happy. I'm happy that it helps. I'm sharing it because many reasons. I have my own reason for sharing. Of course, I want to create more awareness on what I'm doing. But at the same time, I think it helps a lot of people out there. Yeah? Again, this is not about changing jobs. It's helping you find, or improving yourself. It's a way to do personal development as well. And some of you have connected to me because of that. And if you have any questions, feel free to engage. Yeah? I am more than happy. If you have any questions, I can help elaborate and hopefully share more in my next articles.
Okay, here's a tip. Here's a tip that I always like to do is that when I talk to clients or prospects and they ask me all the questions, right, I write them all down, because all those questions are ways for me to write an article, to think of a topic that I want to talk about, and give me more how should I say, give me more fodder for thought. And then from these ideas, I get to write more articles. And also for those of you who are like, what articles do I write? How do I get started? Go to Quora.com, Quora, and then find the topic that interests you and go and read about it. And there's so many questions and answers, so interesting. Yes. And then you will definitely be triggered to answer some of the questions on your own. And I also encourage you, if you can, right, sign up for a profile and answer some Quora questions. And then it will really make you think. And that will really make you think about yourself, what you intend to do, because nothing makes it clearer than writing. Because writing forces you to really be clear in your thought. Because if you're not clear in your thought, you can't write. And I hope many of you who are out there who like to write and who are writers, they will agree with me that if you're not, you don't have clarity of thought, your writing will be all over the place, and that's not good for your readers. And Usha says, hi Hock Soon, thanks for sharing. Just send you a LinkedIn connection. See, you're getting all these LinkedIn people.
Thank you. Hi.
LinkedIn connection.
Thank you, Usha.
I interviewed Usha for a HR topic in Facebook Live last year. So for those of you who want to know a little bit more about HR and all that, go and look for the Facebook Live that I did with Usha. Okay. So any last comments before we end, because we're at the end of our hour. So final question for you, Hock Soon. What is the one takeaway that you want all of the people listening, watching to remember? One.
Okay. Only one.
Only one. Only one. One not. Too many cannot.
Oh, for me is, after listening to all this, reflect and ask yourself what have you learned. I ask you only one because learning is one part of it. Then you need to follow up with the action. Right. So if you find this helpful, I hope it has helped you in certain ways. Then do that reflection for yourself. Ask, what insight have you learned from this session today? And sorry, Krista, I want to push for the second step is, then what are you going to do about it? Right? Just like LinkedIn connect, you connect, then do you engage? A lot of times it's about taking the next step, like some of you commented. Thanks for that. And by the way, this is a recorded session. I'd like to say thank you for those who have given me feedback on my article and who told me they couldn't join but would watch a review. Thank you for that. And I also have one last shout out, Krista. In this journey,
Okay.
I have got great support from my wife. It's very important. Yes, she has been a pillar of strength, so I really want to do a shout out for her. Yeah.
What's her name? Tell us her name lah.
Okay. CI, her name is CI. So yeah, short for continuous improvement. That's how she
that's good. That's a good one. That's an interesting way to introduce your wife. Okay, so finally connect on LinkedIn with Hock Soon Neoh. Okay, so those of you watching this, whether you're on a replay or are you still with us, please connect with him. And of course, like he says, not just connect with him and just become friends, but take it to the next step, right? Like, what are you going to do with it after that? Are you going to get on the phone, talk to each other, find out how you can help each other, or what you're going to do with that connection? So that's very important. I think Ronya will be nodding and yeah next step. I probably Rowena say yes. What's the next step? So yeah. So this one is thank you. Yes, thank you, Manchi. Thank you all of you for watching.
Yes, thanks, Ghana. Thanks, HB.
Thanks, Ghana. Yeah, thank you for spending your Saturday morning with us, and of course, HB. Thank you. So thank you once more for joining us. We are already 6 minutes past our 1 hour. And if you have any friends whom you feel could benefit from this session, please share this with them or tag them. And of course, later, Hock Soon will go back into the comments and connect with all of you personally. Right?
Will do. Yes.
Okay. So final one is David Lim says, stay safe all. Also, Park Sheng Teo says, good sharing. Thanks. Thank you everyone. Thank you Rose. Thank you Wai Boon. Thank you Hui Wen. And thank you all. And see you again. What we do is normally for this Facebook Live series, we have it every 2 weeks, where we bring on someone who is either related to business or marketing or entrepreneurship to talk about their experience, their knowledge, or even their journey, so that we can share our knowledge collectively with each other and benefit from it all. So see you all in 2 weeks' time. 2 weeks' time, I'm bringing on someone from Fiji.
Nice.
So we had to work around the time zone. Work around the time zone, but bringing on someone from Fiji, and she's an entrepreneur, and she is somewhat like you too. She has a day job, but she's also doing her part in creating a business for herself. So we will see all of you in 2 weeks' time on 30th of January. And if you like this, please give us all a thumbs up wherever you can, because this is also on YouTube. So if you want to find this video, it's also on YouTube for those of you who prefer to share using YouTube. So thank you all for being with us today, and we will see you in 2 weeks' time. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks all. Stay safe.